Just like a broken record, same old songs of accusation play. Like who are you to speak the truth? Just look at all your failures and mistakes. And if they really knew you, there's no way they could love you anyway. Oh, but I will fight the lies with the truth.
Hello and welcome to the Send Help Podcast, a podcast and a lifeline for moms who are stuck in the trenches of mommyhood, bringing them encouragement through Jesus, laughter, and sisterhood. Hello, guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hello. Oh my goodness, Christy.
Yeah,
We have a special guest in the
we
room.
do.
Ooh,
I know. I'm excited. It's our first special guest.
I know. This is such a big deal.
It is.
So big.
It is. One of the things that's been huge on our hearts is letting other women share their stories.
Yep.
And we're going to do it today.
I know. And with the most incredible woman
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, guys, I am so honored to be your first guest. I'm really humbled.
This, everyone, is Danette Duncan, mom of one amazing Delilah.
She is amazing.
She really is. Okay, so we prayed about this, and we really, the Lord just brought your name to my mind immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, for the last 2 years, I have been wanting to give you a platform. Because God is doing such an incredible thing in your life. And you are the epitome of beauty from ashes. And I just can't wait for him to just start talking through you.
Yes, I am so excited. You know, for the past little over a year, I have been hearing God say, you need to share your story. You need to share your story. So I've been sharing in just small ways, just through my personal Facebook page. But I really do feel like this is really what God has been telling me to do for a long time. And I just didn't have anyone say, hey, you need to do this until you did.
I mean, we started talking about this at the zoo on a play date.
Yes.
I don't know, back before Christy and I decided we're doing a podcast.
Right?
Exactly. That's true. You're like, hey, you need to do something. And I'm like, yeah, I really do.
I know. I was like, my friend and I were thinking about trying to do something. And if we do something, I want you to come and talk on our something.
Yeah. And I was like,
On
of
the
course,
something.
I will do something with you. Of course.
I would want to know what the something was first.
Yeah.
I'm not as trusting.
Well, and I am just that crazy that I was like, absolutely. What are you doing? Oh, you don't know yet? I'm in.
We have no idea, but we know God's telling us to do something.
Exactly.
I mean, I think that was back. It was cold. It was cold and rainy.
It was so
I'm
cold.
thinking it was it October or November? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
it
That
doesn't
could have been
matter.
January.
It's true. I mean, it could have been February.
That could have been yesterday.
It was last week, y'all. No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, before we dive in, before we duck dive, guys,
Yes.
into Danette's life. Anything going on right now? You want to give us a story from a moment of what's going on?
Oh, absolutely. So this is a story that actually just happened yesterday. And so very recent. So, everyone is always talking about how strong I am and how put together and how I can just handle anything. And I've been able to handle some really, really big things. Well, I think. And,
Yes, I would think so.
yes. But yesterday I completely lost it over a popsicle party. So the school that I work with does this really, really cool thing at the end of the year where the entire school goes outside and they have music and popsicles and all the entire school dances together and has these popsicles and everybody takes selfies and it's a really fun time.
It's a popsicle party.
Popsicle dance party. I mean, come on, right? So I've been looking forward to this popsicle dance party with my kindergartner
Yeah.
for a really long time, and she'd been looking forward to it too. So it was an early release day, and but teachers have to stay ridiculously late.
Right.
So my mother-in-law was going to pick up my daughter at the end of the day, at early release. So here comes time for the popsicle dance party. I'm all excited. I have my phone out. I'm going over to go take a selfie with my daughter, and she's not there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked her best friend from class. I said, "Hey, friend, where's Delilah?" And she's like, "Oh, I think she went home already." And my heart
Say what?
Yeah, my heart starts racing. I'm like, no. I look at my clock. It is not the right time. She cannot possibly have gone home already. And I ask her teacher. I say, "Teacher, did my mother-in-law come and pick up my daughter early?" And the teacher says, "Yes. She was picked up about an hour ago."
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
And y'all, I do not know what came over me, but I got so angry and I started crying, and I am sending my mother-in-law angry text messages. "How dare you pick up my daughter an hour early and take away the popsicle party? I don't get my selfie with my daughter with a popsicle on her last day of kindergarten." I mean, I lost it. I am crying at school. I am like walking away from the children I'm supposed to be watching. I was like, I need somebody to watch these kids because I can't take a selfie.
I can't handle this.
I cannot. I can't even right now.
That was your line. The popsicle party.
Yes.
After everything that you have endured,
Yes.
the popsicle party is where you broke.
Yes. Not being able to take a selfie to post on Facebook. Because, hello, did the last day of school even happen if I can't post it on Facebook?
It did
No,
not.
it didn't.
No.
No, it was her last day of kindergarten, and I have no proof of it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
I would have reacted the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah. But it was pretty ridiculous. It was it was pretty bad.
I mean, when in retrospect, it's like, okay, really?
Yeah. Exactly.
I would be driving my child back to the school with popsicles in hand, like we are
take a
taking this
picture.
selfie.
We're getting the picture. I don't care. It's 3 days
Right?
after school. is
No, we
out.
are taking a
We're
picture.
taking the
Well,
picture.
I mean, that is what we're doing tomorrow.
Yes,
Of course. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's let everybody understand why this is so ridiculous that a popsicle party is where you broke.
Right.
Okay.
Because you were recently in the last year widowed.
Yes, I was. So, my story starts off. I had a wonderful husband. He was, guys, he was incredible. He was such a great father. He loved Delilah so much. He was so great. But then he hurt himself at work, and they prescribed him painkillers. And that turned into an addiction. And then, to get off of the painkillers, a friend of his said, "Hey, you know what helps with detox? Computer cleaner." And that completely changed who he was. He went from loving, amazing, incredible father to just surrounded by darkness, and the devil just took over, and that addiction became so strong. He would go to rehab 3 times
Yeah.
to try to overcome the one thing that he was trying to use to not use
Right.
painkillers.
Right.
And that's something that most people think, hey, whatever, computer cleaner, that's no big deal. That's, something that teenagers do. It's whatever. That is the worst thing that you can do. It's awful. Completely changes you. So here's what happened. He came to our house, and Delilah and I came home from church. We came home from church. We saw him in our driveway. He was completely unconscious. He looked dead at that moment. He looked dead. So I put our daughter in the garage. I called 911. The police came. Fire trucks came. And he came back. And he was okay. And they said that they were going to take him to the hospital to check him out. And that was December 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
They took him to the hospital, and we never saw him after that. He went missing.
Mm-hmm.
He walked out of the hospital that day, but nobody told us. So after 2 days, when no one had heard from him, and I called the hospital to be like, hey, what's going on with my husband? And they're like, oh, he's not here. So I filed a missing persons report. Well, I tried to, and they didn't want to hear from me. And then his mom filed a missing persons report, and they sort of, they took it, but no one did anything because he's a 35-year-old with a history of addiction. And
Yeah.
they just said, hey, he just does not want to be with you.
Yeah.
Which, So we were looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
I looked in fields.
I mean, you put it all over. Like everybody was sharing it on
It
Facebook.
was on social media. It was everywhere, and
We tried every news station.
yeah, but the thing is he was a white adult male, and that's not something that they cared to broadcast because
Right.
they thought, he'll come back when he's ready. There's nothing wrong.
Right. This is just a
This-
domestic
Right.
issue.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to be there.
Right.
But I had this feeling something was horribly wrong, right? And so everyone that I'm talking to thinks that I am just a lunatic because it sounded crazy. Like his keys were at my house, his car was at my house, his phone was at my house, everything, right?
Didn't you find those like outside or something?
Well, they were in my driveway, but they
Oh,
were in my
yeah.
driveway because the ambulance took him from my driveway.
Okay.
So 8 weeks goes by.
Yeah. Excruciating.
That's
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, 8 weeks, and still, people are just being so hateful and dismissive, and people are just like, oh, he just doesn't want to be here, and why do you even care? He's an addict, and it's like that's not who he was.
No.
That's where the stage he was in, but that's not who he was. I think too many times we let our choices define who we are.
Yeah.
And people try to define us by our choices, but that's not who he was. So 8 weeks goes by, and
Through Christmas break.
yeah. Through Christmas, New Year's, and and I called the detective and I said, look, this man would not have let Christmas gone by and not called his baby girl.
No.
I don't care what you think of him. I know this man. I know him. He would not do that to his
Even
child?
through the drugs, he wouldn't have done that.
Even through the drugs, even through everything else. They're like, he would not do that. So they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll call around. We'll do some digging. And then he called us and he said, oh, well, hey, he checked into a homeless shelter.
What?
So, he really just doesn't want to come back to you.
What?
And I was like, oh, well, okay. Well, at least I know he's alive. But then I was so angry. I said, how could he do this? How could he not call his child
Right.
on Christmas? Because they said he checked into a homeless shelter on December 18th. That's before Christmas. What?
Yeah.
And I was so confused. And then I just got angry. How could he do this to his child? And I was so angry. And I was participating in the 5 a.m. prayer time. And as I was praying about that, God showed me that that was not true. He said not to be deceived by people's lies. And I didn't understand it. I was like, the detective's lying to me? And he said, it's lies. And I was praying and begging for answers. And God showed me, like I was looking out my back door. And it was like I could physically see it. I could see Stephen standing there. And there were dark figures swirling all around him, darkness all around him. And then he just fell. And I saw him laying in a field. And he was just laying there with the darkness all around them. And then I opened my Bible. And when I opened my Bible opened to Psalms 68:5. A father to the fatherless, a defender of widows is God in his holy dwelling. And I knew, I said, okay. And 3 days later, at 3:00 in the afternoon, my phone rang at school. And it was my sister-in-law who lives in Ohio. And I went to answer the phone, but my battery was all the way dead.
Wow.
So I couldn't answer. I have my student teacher standing right next to me, and my hands are trembling, and I'm in a staff meeting, actually. And I am standing in front of my entire
Oh my gosh.
co-workers. Everybody is there. And I am trembling. And I just look at my student teacher and I ask her if I can borrow her phone charger. I said, I think they found my husband. Can I borrow your charger? Which she was very confused.
Yeah.
So she gives me her charger and I go into my classroom. I call my sister-in-law back and she says, we have news. And she said, where are you? And I said, I'm at school, but the kids are gone. She said, okay, maybe you should go home.
Oh, jeez.
And I said, I have waited 8 weeks.
Right?
I already know the truth because God told me.
Yeah.
God told me 3 days ago. I know the truth. I just need to hear it.
Yeah.
And she said, okay. And she said that a homeless ministry, they were doing a homeless census at 11:11. Walked up and they found him in a field in front of a high school behind a Taco Bell where he had been for 8 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
He was there since that second day, December 5th, when I had the overwhelming sense of panic in my soul, and I called the hospital demanding to know where my husband was. That's where he had been. as his sisters and I walked through fields searching for him earlier, we had stopped about 50 feet in front of where his body was.
By the grace of God.
Yeah, we were directly across the street.
Wow.
Yeah, because we didn't cross the 4 lanes of traffic. Like, that was the only thing standing between us and his body was 4 lanes of traffic. We were on the opposite side of the traffic.
Such a blessing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is, because I did the foolish thing of actually reading the autopsy report. Please never do that to yourself, people. Do not.
If you ever find yourself in this situation, do
Don't
not
read the
Do
autopsy.
not read the autopsy
Exactly.
report.
Hopefully you will not be, but if you are, don't read it. So, God's grace stepped in there by not allowing us to see him that way.
No.
But then at the same time, I'm like, man, those 8 weeks of not knowing were excruciating, and maybe I should have just walked across the street. But I really think that it's protection.
It was absolute protection.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So every time I start thinking and asking, why? Why did I not cross the street? Why did no one find him? He was behind a Taco Bell
Yeah.
in front of a high school.
Right.
I mean,
How did
yeah,
the police not find
exactly.
him?
I had a missing persons report in, and how does anyone not find him? Like, I was looking, and I just keep hearing protection. It was for your protection. It is for your daughter's protection. This is protection. And I said, from what? Protection? Taking my husband is protection. And he said, yes, I am protecting you from the darkness that had taken over.
Yeah.
I am protecting her from living in darkness. I am bringing light. I am bringing something new. And he brought to me Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing now. It springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and strength in the wasteland. In the wasteland. And that's where he was.
Right.
He was in a wasteland. He was in a field surrounded by trash and darkness. But he is making all things new. In this year since he passed, he gave me a new city.
I know.
He said, I need you to go. I said, I don't want to go. He said, yeah, you need to go. And he miraculously brought me this city that I had never thought I would be in. And he said, you are going to go to this city because I am giving you all things new. I said, what do you mean all things new? I don't know what. He said, watch me. I said, oh, yes, sir, I'm watching, And what he has done has been nothing short of just a miracle, because he has given me a new peace. He's given me a new joy. He gave me a new house.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He allowed me to buy my first home. I never thought I would be a homeowner. I'm a teacher. I do not make very much money, and especially a widowed teacher. It's just me and my 6-year-old. But he did it. And so we have a new house in a new city with a new community. And he just gave me a new job.
Yeah, he did.
And in this new city, in the new community.
Yeah, in your neighborhood.
In my neighborhood. I have never driven less than 30 minutes to work. I've driven as far as an hour and a half. And this last one was 30 minutes, which was my shortest ever. And I was like, yeah, 30 minutes. That's awesome. And now he gave me a job in my neighborhood.
You can see the school from your front yard.
I can. It's incredible. And he is bringing people into my life that do not look at me like, oh, there's the widow. Did you hear her husband was an addict? Oh, yeah. Oh, and guess what? When he went missing, he was actively having an affair. Oh, yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
And it's true. All of it. But that doesn't matter.
Nobody's looking
Yeah.
at you that way. And Delilah doesn't have to grow up that way.
No. And the great thing is that he is surrounding me with women who are speaking life and who are saying, you know what? It happens.
Yeah.
You know what? It's okay. The choices that your husband made, that has nothing to do with you.
Amen.
Guess what? Our husbands have made bad choices too. Or, I've made bad choices and people are connecting with the messy and the dirty and the dark, because even though we don't post that on Facebook,
Yeah.
even though not everybody's story is as messy or as dark as mine, it brings people together, because when something like this happens, you can either turn all the way against people, shut yourself out, and be miserable and alone and just wallow in your pity. Or you can do what I did, and you can just push in and believe that God is going to take care of you. And he will, if you just step out of the way, because that was my biggest problem for a long time, is I was going to fix my husband. I was going to do it. I was sending him to rehab, and I am going to control every little aspect of his life. And if I just try hard enough, if I'm nice enough, if I do everything I possibly can and completely sacrifice everything that I am, he will get better. And if he gets better, I'll feel better.
Right. Then everything will be okay.
Then everything will be okay. And I think as moms, we do that so much. We say, I am going to sacrifice everything I have. I am going to be exhausted. I'm going to pour everything into my family. But when we do that, we completely miss the mark. Because then we are so overwhelmed that not getting a picture of a popsicle party sends us into a mental break.
Yeah.
Not having something that we can, not having something Facebook worthy,
Right.
And so I'm here to say, you know what? Post about your hard days.
Yeah.
Take a picture in your messy house. Guess what? We all have them.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
You're sitting in one right now.
I've had to let go of that striving for perfection, the being dignified enough. Because
Right.
for a long time I was like, but if if I tell you my story and you know what my husband did,
Right.
you're not going to want to be my friend. You're not going to want to let your kids be in my care. You're not going to love me.
That's all just lies.
So many lies, because I am sharing my story.
Yeah.
And I've been putting all my bad days out there on social media for everyone to walk through this grief journey with us, because I felt like God told me I needed to. And even though I have had some judgmental comments and some people trying to tell me what my grief should look like
Right.
or shouldn't look like, for the most part, I have found community and acceptance and real love that comes just from God and godly friendships. And I am so thankful for that dark mess. Because if it wasn't for that dark mess, I wouldn't know how much light and love was possible.
Oh,
You know, freedom, you don't understand what freedom feels like until you've been in bondage, until you have been at that lowest, darkest point where you're like, I cannot get out of bed. I cannot look at anyone. I cannot answer one more judging question. I can't do it. I can't do it. And when I said, I just can't do this, God stepped in and said, well, I've been telling you. Are you gonna let me help you? You know, so he sent help. And it's okay to not be okay all the time.
yeah.
There's grace in that.
So much. There's so much grace in that.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, that's how you're winning at widowing.
I am winning at widowing. I definitely am.
We've been saying that for like a year now.
We have.
Hashtag winning at widowing.
Yes. Yes. We have actually been saying that since we went to that women's retreat
Yes.
the weekend after I buried my husband.
Yes, that was
So,
insane.
Yes. So
I mean, I don't even know how to be. That's my child crying in the background. I don't even know how you have had the strength to parent through this. I think you're phenomenal. And Delilah is not wanting for anything. Like, it's amazing to see. I mean, I know that there are hard days. And I mean, you've definitely been sharing those on Facebook. And then Facebook will come up with a memory and you're like, oh, cool.
yeah.
I was having a good day.
Yeah.
Thanks, Facebook.
Oh yeah. I almost forgot about that. Thanks.
Thanks for reminding me I was
Jerk.
happy once. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I did bury my husband on the 7th anniversary of the day he proposed to me. Thanks, Facebook.
Thank you so much, Facebook.
Yeah, that was nice. Facebook is so kind that way.
Yes, but how many years from now you're going to see those come back up and think, oh my goodness, how far I've come
Yeah, you know,
at the same time.
it is. It's true because I saw a picture, you know, just this week that I posted last year when it was the night before Delilah's pre-K graduation, and I was a wreck, a devastated wreck. And that memory came up like 2 days before her kindergarten graduation. And for a split second, I was like, oh my gosh, if pre-K graduation was so hard and so devastating because he wasn't there, oh, how hard is kindergarten going to be? And I could almost physically feel him behind me. You know, I could feel like arms. And just it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And it was.
Amazing.
Amazing, right?
God showed up.
What? Like he hasn't done it a million times for me before, but it was just insane. because I had these expectations of, okay, this is going to be a hard day. This is going to be a hard day. And he said, stop it. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
Right.
I am making all things new. I said all things. Oh, so, okay.
Isn't that amazing how we like don't expect for him, like we're like, I don't know if you're actually going to show up this time.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm going to stress about this
Right.
because I need to control something.
Right.
So I'm going to control my stress.
Yeah.
I can't control anything else, so I'm going to freak out because I can control that.
Yeah. Exactly.
But like you've walked through, I mean, your story is a Beauty from Ashes story. And like not only Beauty from Ashes, but you've walked through the fire and you don't smell like fire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't. You smell like roses. It's just amazing what God is doing. Like, if you guys could see, I'm saying you guys as audience, if you listening could see how beautifully adjusted Delilah is and how strong she is and how she hasn't lost her light.
Right.
She hasn't. She's sparkly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first time I met you, like I had, like it hadn't been that long. And I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It was June 24th of last year.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah. No, not long at all. Because he was found January 26th is when I was notified.
Right.
So, yeah. No, not long at all. So,
But this could have robbed her of her childhood.
it could have,
The
but
whole
yeah.
life with Stephen
Yeah.
on drugs could have robbed her. But God is so big and so good and so faithful. And he has walked you through this and the way that you've handled this. I've just got to say, I mean, it's phenomenal. She is not, I know that there is a lot of pain there and you've walked through a lot of pain with her, but the way that you're handling it and the way that you're letting her grieve and letting her talk about her daddy and not a lot, there are a lot of women out there that would have been like, your daddy was not, I mean, like, like to bring up, to be like, you have no idea. He wasn't awesome. You have no idea what he put me through. But like, you don't do that.
no, I can't because
You're not spiteful in
No,
this.
and-
And it's amazing.
Well, and like you said earlier, which I thought was huge, like that's not who he was.
Right.
that's right.
That's not who he was.
Exactly.
And you're not remembering him for that short period of time.
Right.
Yeah.
You're remembering who he was.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's my job. I am her mom, and I have to protect her and not protect her by lying to her. She knows. She knows the truth. She knows how he died. She knows all that. Not all the
She doesn't.
details.
need
She
to
didn't
know
read
those
the
details,
autopsy.
right?
Right, yeah, no. But yeah. Oh yeah, no. But she knows. And but it's my job to help her remember who he was. And there's so much of the good of what he was in her. And I will point that out to her. And I think that helps. You know, every time she picks something up with her toes, I'm like, oh, your daddy did that. You know, the way she looks when she's angry, you know, it's like, I mean, and I think that just allowing her to just remember and grieve and share and scream sometimes, that's what we have to do. We don't need to worry about being dignified and put together and being Facebook or Pinterest or Instagram perfect.
Yeah.
We just have to survive and do what it takes to just live in joy. And we just choose that. We choose, we are not going to let this define or destroy us. This is definitely changing who we are, but it is changing us for the better.
Yeah.
Because now we have the responsibility of living for him. He let the darkness overtake him, and I will not allow it to overtake his child. So generational curses are being broken, and it's stopping here. And as a mom, I am forming an army of other moms, and we are going to link up, and we are going to protect our children, and we are going to say, not today, Satan. You cannot have our babies because we are way too crazy. You do not even.
The Holy Spirit in me is so much bigger than you.
Exactly. You do not know the power that we have. And that's just what I really want to encourage you to do. Just, it doesn't matter if your meltdown is huge grief, horrible trauma,
Or popsicle
parties. Or maybe they didn't put your extra shot in your Starbucks.
They didn't.
They didn't, Christy.
No. It does not matter how big or how small you think that it is. I want you to just give yourself some grace, because after my meltdown over popsicles, I was so hard on myself. I was like, Danette, are you kidding me right now? Are you serious? Did you just angry text your mother-in-law, the mother of your husband?
Who is dead?
Who is dead? Did you just angry text her because she picked up your daughter for you?
Because she wanted to spend time with her?
Right.
Because she picked her up 45 minutes before she was supposed to. Are you serious? Because you do not have something to post on Facebook. Come on. And oh my goodness, I just beat myself up. I was like, oh my gosh. It's like you went trekking through fields looking for your dead husband. You had extensive conversations with his mistress.
Yeah.
Trying to just find out if he was alive or not.
Right.
And you could handle all of that with strength and dignity. But you are going to start crying in front of the entire school
Over a popsicle
party. Whip out your phone and be texting in front of your boss.
You left your kids.
Walk away from 23 fifth graders. There was other adults present. They were not in any harm. Disclaimer.
To your new boss.
No, there really were other adults present.
Yeah.
Background checked. But I completely melted down over something that seems so worthless. Why does that matter? And, God revealed to me some unresolved issues that I thought I had never thought of before. I had never had those thoughts before. But then when the popsicle thing happened, it hit me. And I had this resentment in me. And it had nothing to do with popsicles.
Yeah.
And it was all over lies.
Right.
But now finally, almost a year and a half after the fact, I can release that because I broke down. So sometimes we have to break down.
Yeah.
And we have to be undignified and ugly and ridiculous and just let people see our crazy so that we can find the peace that we finally, just peace.
This is the sound of chains breaking.
Yes.
It's not quiet.
No, it's not. It's not.
Who knew that a popsicle could break a chain?
Yeah. But it did.
Sure did.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming
Yes.
and being so willing and vulnerable
And so open.
and open about the details of what has gone on. I mean, you amaze me every day.
Thank you.
I know you're in Hazlitt now, but and they can borrow you.
You're on loan.
But I mean, I see Jesus in you every day. You just I think to myself a lot, like, come on, Amanda. Danette's holding it together. You can hold it together. This is not that bad.
Well,
No
but that's
pressure,
where-
Danette.
Yeah, no pressure. But I'm kind of your role model. Oh my goodness. I think I have enough pressure. Thanks. No, just kidding. But that's where that grace
Yeah.
swoops in, and you have to give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing. I said, it's popsicles. Let it go.
Yeah.
And so
Let it go.
Frozen popsicles.
They are frozen.
Yes.
Oh, full circle.
Ice pops.
Oh my gosh.
So, but yeah, no, just give yourself grace.
Grace, you
Grace.
guys. Well, I'm going to say that that's episode 3. You have grace on your shirt. Christy's showing me her shirt. I'm like, what are you doing?
I really wish you guys could see this.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you again. I'm going to say thank you
you
for
so
the
much.
3rd time. Like, I'm just like, there are no
It's-
more words.
Yeah.
Just grace.
Grace.
Give yourself grace. And #winning at widowing. Please follow us, like us, go subscribe to the podcast on our I was going to say on our internet, on our website.
On the interwebs.
Website at thesendhelppodcast.com.
Hey, if you haven't listened to the other podcasts that are up there,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and check them out.
I'm not going to tell you they're as good as this one, but
Wow. I wasn't going to say anything.
yeah.
But they're pretty good.
Well, thanks. Follow us at Send Help Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And just keep coming back and let us know your prayer requests, because we do really want to pray for you. And we want this to be a community, a girl gang,
Yes.
an army of moms.
In the motherhood.
In the motherhood. What? Yes. Okay, we're done.
We went there.
Yeah, we did. We did. Thank you guys for listening. Tune in next time.
Yes.